So I've been collecting Masterpiece and third party for a while. There's a new scale of Masterpiece and third party figures. Well, just third party figures, by the way, that has infested the third party region of Transformers, and that is Legends scale. And I'm here today to share my distaste, my angriness, and I'm going to talk to you about Legends figures. And I'm going to tell you my rant story on why I dislike these things. Now, if you listen to my first 3 or 4 points and disagree with them, maybe you'll agree with my last 1, 2, or 3 points. So you got to hear this out the whole way. But yes, I'm upset, angry, and frustrated with Transformers Legends. But you're listening to the Titanium Hanger. This is Mike, and I talk to you about vintage and modern Star Wars Transformers video games and all other great things. So let's get right into this rant. The first reason I hate Legends figures is because it takes away from the Masterpiece Transformers that they could be making. Yes, Magic Square brought us one Masterpiece figure and keeps recoloring it 4 times. But it's just enough to make us taste what they could do if they truly cared about Masterpiece. The brand new 9-inch Masterpiece line that has been created and abandoned the 12-inch line. So we've gotten smaller to 9-inch. Now we want to go to 4-inch and less in this whole wonderful, beautiful Legends. Now, I gotta say that I'm a bit frustrated by the fact that Magic Square did a great job on a Prime. I don't know, Transform Element might have done better, and we know Takara will do better. But then again, they could have give us a Blitzwing, an Astral Train, a whatever obscure character that does not exist, or they could one-up one of the figures that we have, or they could complement one of the army builders. They could do so much stuff in the Masterpiece realm, and they choose not to because they are basically Magic Square is the leading Legends third-party creator, and there it is. What about DX9? DX9 started their war in the pocket a few years back, maybe 2 years ago, and they stopped giving us new molds, and they started re-releasing good stuff like their Richtofen, and I gotta say, I have bashed some of DX9's releases, but it's not because they're bad. I've got their Omega Supreme. I've got that over Fans Toys, and I liked it more than Fans Toys based on aesthetic, based on a lot of things, and I liked it from the first images more. DX9 is a great company, which they're proving it in the Legends realm, but they could be proving it so much more in the Masterpiece realm. You know, people are not here in this segment of collecting because they want microscopic figures. They want something impressive. And that's what Masterpiece delivers, and DX9 can do that, but they choose not to. The next topic that really bothers me is that people say, oh, well, Legends third-party figures are so cheap, they're affordable, they're reasonably priced. These things are smaller than my Star Wars figures, my 3 3/4 Star Wars figures. They're about the same size. I could put Soundwave and Optimus Prime next to Luke Skywalker, and they're about the same size. To me, that's not impressive. But when you take that into account, you're spending $33 on these things. The price does not warrant a good value. Yeah, okay, we're Super G1. Okay. But so is Masterpiece. We're great engineering. So is Masterpiece. Could any of these be scaled up to Masterpiece and you be happy? No, not one of them. Not one could be scaled up. I have tried time and time again to find a mold that would scale up to Masterpiece properly if they were KO oversized. The KO oversize of these actually are only like 12% bigger. So you get death by 1,000 cuts. When you buy these legend size figures, you're getting cut to death. So let's put this in perspective. If I were to spend $1,000 on these $33 legend figures, I would get 30 figures. And I think 30 figures on a shelf legend size versus 8 of the $130 to $150 masterpiece figures, I would rather have the 8 masterpiece figures, because that would look so much better on a shelf versus these. Price wise, you're not getting the value. I really don't see that you're getting the value out of these things. So that leads into the next topic, the next issue, the next frustration is they do not have the same shelf presence. Those 8 figures in Masterpiece just take you away. And the 30 figures do not. There's no comparison. Any 30 Legend figures versus any 8 Masterpiece figures, including Omnigonics, including Dakatoys Chronos, including any Masterpiece figure, you're not going to have the same shelf presence. You're not going to have the same impact. But the reality is, I truly think 8 of these Masterpiece figures would blow away 30 of these Legends figures. Next point. These all lack the finish a Masterpiece figure has. How do these same companies that can put a finish on a Masterpiece figure that makes it look like it walked off the screen and it's in real world and it just blows our mind away and makes us want to drop $130 on it to $150, depending on where you buy it. And then they put this figure out with 10% paint. No paint. Yeah, let's just dye the plastic. Let's make it look like Hasbro. Hasbro Siege figures are actually putting paint on them nowadays. Hasbro Siege figures are bigger, cheaper, and my biggest complaint about Hasbro Siege in my Hasbro Siege rant was that they were too small and cost too much. And Legends is triple that or quadruple that, problematically. The next issue that really gets under my skin when you talk about Legend figures is scale. So Hasbro created a Legends scale, which they said, okay, so all the mini bots, for 5 years we're going to make all the mini bots, and we're going to do a good job, not a great job. We're going to make them in what's called Legends scale. So even the next size deluxe is bigger than a Legends scale, so all the mini bots are in the Legends scale. And then now we're going to take third party and say the bigger bots like Optimus Prime and Megatron and the Seekers are going to be the same exact scale as Bumblebee, as Brawn, as Warpath, as Windcharger. Well, it doesn't work for me. Scale is inconsistent in the whole third-party Legends realm. It actually is inconsistent between companies. So if you have a Magic Square figure next to a New Age, next to an Iron Factory, next to a McFan's Toys, which McFan's Toys is seeming to be the only thing that saves this whole community of Legends, and people bash them. I'm going to talk more about that here in a minute. McFan's Toys is the best thing that's happened to Legends, and people bash McFan's Toys. Oh, you're stealing the designs. Well, you know what? McFan's Toys scales with McFan's Toys. And McFan's Toys copies every other company. And they have, you could buy all McFan's Toys, and it will blend well together on a shelf. And for half the price. But guess what? No, everybody hates them. And they're starting to come out with their own molds, which nobody wants to praise McFan's Toys for coming out with their own molds. They just want to bash them for the copying of the old mold, which I understand to a point, But the reality is this scale shouldn't exist. So I'm going to level with you guys. I have purchased 1 or 2 figures from each of the companies that produce Legend scaled figures so I can give a true evaluation of how these figures look, work, operate, mesh together, and how they will blend size-wise, how they'll blend in aesthetics. And this leads me to my biggest problem with Legends, is that I already have a few. I have a few more ordered, and I actually want to buy a few more. I can't go down this route. I can't bury myself in this deep problem of Legends, and I have to tell you, this addiction must be cured. I want to hear what you have to say about Legend figures versus Masterpiece figures. Are you in on Legends 100%? Have you even bought one? Are you a true Masterpiece collector and have fought the urge to buy these devilish little things? By the way, like and subscribe to Dear Hanger out.